right, welcome back to Versus Live. My name is Corey Baumeister.
And I'm Ross Merriam.
And we got Rob in the booth. Say Sultai is the best, Rob.
Sultai is the best, Rob.
You heard it from Rob. That's what I'm trying to prove today. That's what we're trying to prove on this show. If you want your questions answered, feel free to take at Star City Games. Rob will get his favorite questions over to us. Like I was just saying, this is a Sultai Gauntlet show. We are seeing if it is possible to essentially go under Sultai. That is definitely what we're trying to prove on this show, because all three decks we got are really not trying to compete in the same way. They're trying to go under. They're not trying to go over and compete in this arms race that is the Sultai Ramp mirror fest that's going on right now.
Because if you're trying to compete in that arms race, you're playing Sultai yourself. Because,
exactly.
You know,
yeah.
Unless you're bringing Hydroid Krasis and Uro to that gunfight, you're going to get outgunned.
Exactly. Yep. So, I mean, yeah, I don't consider anything else going in an arms race besides Sultai mirrors right now. Like, even Teamer Adventures is still a sidestep to me. All these aggro decks are sidesteps. But it's just proven that Sultai is beating them. You know, so the world is changing. There are new decks popping up, especially the deck we're going to be seeing in our third round. We'll give a little teaser to that, but we won't tell you exactly what it is yet. But for now, Mono Green Aggro is a deck our very own Cedric Phillips has been talking the talk and actually walking the walk. When I've been watching his streams, he's very high mythic. I mean,
top 10.
Top 10. I mean, you're gonna get two things if you go on to Cedric's stream: is some Jam and Paramore music, and you're gonna get mono green creatures killing his opponents very, very often.
So real quick, blink twice if Cedric Phillips said you're fired if you don't play this deck.
No, definitely not like that. Definitely not like... No, honestly, we were looking at decks on what to compete with, and Cedric has... Anybody who's been watching coverage, Cedric has been just screaming up from the rooftops, there's a deck out there to beat this. Yeah. And I do think it's a good deck, and when people are in this arms race of Sultai where they're just continuing to add Narsets, continuing to add Shark Typhoons, negate Mystical Disputes in the main, that's when it's Mono Green's time to shine. And I've lived in this once before during the Team Erect days. They were really trying to just compete with the Team Erect decks. I played Mono Green. I got to a top 8, and then I just don't play the top 8s.
Yeah, again, once you say I got to top 8, we all know how it ends.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I thought the top 8s were always the next day, so I just haven't actually played any of my events.
But when played with the puppy...
Yeah, I headed out, you know, so if I was on coverage, then you know I'm lying, so I guess I'll just say that I suck in top 8.
You know, one of the reasons that we're featuring all these aggressive decks today is not only, you know, do we not want to get in this arms race and aggro is the best way to sidestep it, but it's also, like you said, the Sultai decks are inbreeding to fight the mirror,
100%.
and that's helping aggro as well. That said, Cedric got his high mythic ranking before last weekend when Andrew Gordon Brown unveiled this new way of building Sultai, and so he's been beating people that were more prepared for aggro decks still with mono green, and that means like they've got Gust, they've got spot removal spells, and he's been winning through it. All those cards line up pretty well against what mono green is doing.
Yeah,
and you know, this deck has shown some resilience, even though it looks very straightforward. It's just a very individual card power level here is very high.
Agreed.
Things like Questing Beast, Love Struck Beast, Primal Might is actually awesome right now. You know, as your answer to Hydroid Krasis and Uro when they tap out for those.
Yep.
So
what you have to do as a Sultai player at some point, you know. And here's the thing: out of all our decks, if I'm looking as an objective viewer on which ones have the best chance against Sultai, I would say this has the least chance of being good, only because of the points we were bringing up that Gusts are on a rise. So essentially, you're not limiting Sultai's interaction by playing mono green because you're diving right into it. But I mean, Gust, it puts it on top, not that big of a deal. And Cedric has said it too, just, you know, whatever, you recast it. But
instead of trying to, you know, sidestep the interaction, we're just going head first into it.
Yep.
You know what? My cards are good too. Let's go.
But I do think it could be even better this week. Like, I'm essentially playing last week's Sultai deck because this is what I played last week. But I think this coming up week is going to be closer to Alexander's list with more Shark Typhoons, more negates, more mystical disputes and stuff. So this deck could be even better. So if you beat me here, I'm really going to consider that, because this is a list that should be decent already, you know?
Right. Well, time to beat you up and make you play mono green again.
Oh, God.
I will keep my hand. This has very high potential.
I think this has high potential as well, but I don't think I can do it. I mean, I want this. This is like exactly what I want, but it's too risky. Hydrate Crisis in a 3 of. I believe I only have 3, so that's not great.
Now I understand why this deck is so good. If your opponent's a mulligan every game.
Exactly, yes. And you have a Pelt Collector, so I'm dead.
Classic plan A.
All right, Rob, you got a question?
Yeah, so as you were talking about, the Sultai decks kind of building to beat other Sultai decks, I mean, if you're going in with a Sultai deck this weekend, what do you feel like is the correct build? Should you just think you're going to play this matchup a decent amount of time, and if you make it to the end, like you're going to see it a lot more? Do you still try to play that version, or do you just try to go for a more generic one?
It's so tough right now because there's no absolutely correct answer, because sometimes you want to be playing the list closer to Alexander. It's proven to be good in the mirror. It looks good, but then you're going to get beat by the aggro decks. There could be a world where it just might be smart to just play the generic stock Sultai list because people are going to be trying to bring in these aggro decks. It might be smart to, play Alexander's list. It might be smart to play a deck that's all removal and stuff, and that's the point right now where I like to avoid the arms race and I like to play something else, because there's not a clear answer to that question to me right now, and that's what scares me about playing Sultai.
So no matter what list you air to, there's going to be some risk, because you have to get the metagame right in order to be on the right list. I will say, if you're going to be playing Sultai this weekend, the card that I would really look at, and I think is going to be very well positioned, is Brazen Borrower, because it's going to be very good against the other Sultai decks, in particular against Shark Typhoon, but it also is going to give you a main deck piece of interaction against aggressive decks. It's not great against them, but unlike something like Mystical Dispute that is often going to be stranded in your hand, it's going to do something.
Exactly.
So that card I think is a great hedge. And something that I would be playing in multiple copies in my Sultai deck this weekend.
But then you run the risk of, if people play level 1 Sultai like this, all of a sudden they don't have sharks. Now your Brazen Borrowers are bad again. So it's not a foolproof plan, but I agree that's probably going to be a good way to zag for
it's
today.
It's not like Borrower is going to be that bad in those matchups. You can bounce a Nissa and buy time against it. You can bounce an Uro and make them get back to it. So
you can attack Narset and stuff.
Narset. So, Brazen Borrower is a card with a pretty high floor. And so that's the kind of card in this metagame where you're taking risks with almost every card choice. Cards with really high floors that mitigate that risk get a lot better.
AK, play good cards. That's a good Magic lesson. You heard it first.
Money, please.
Well, I mean, given that Alexander also beat 2 Ragdos Sacrifice decks in the top 8, is the list really that bad against the field in general, just the way it's built?
I don't think so, but I do think the Rakdos Sacrifice decks, that's the lower end of an aggressive deck. Like, you see, is it Tempo or is it Aggro, whatever we want to call that deck? Mono Green Aggro. These are the beatdown decks. Even Mono Black popped up a little bit. Boros Cycling did well in the Red Bull Untapped event. So there are beatdown decks that are coming out. And I think Sacrifice just isn't that strong of a beatdown deck. Your version is different. Yours is just a beatdown, but
mine's a little bit even it's a little bit more beatdown, but still has those tricky aspects to it. So I agree. Rakdos is definitely a little bit bigger than the other aggro decks, and that means your counter spells get a little bit better. Negate can target a key claim and get some value out of it, whereas Mono Green has very few removal spells, even post board. I guess you have Primal Might, so you have somewhat of a similar aspect there. But
basically it's such a complicated issue right now of to compete in the arms race or not, and it's tough to have a for sure correct answer. We actually talked about it on our podcast the entire time, and I don't even know if we got a clear answer out of it by the end. I'm going to keep this hand is not good though.
Definitely one of those things you can discuss for 2 hours and still not come to a firm conclusion, and
maybe actually get more confused by the end you discuss it.
So all you've done is bring up things that you didn't consider before, and now you're thinking about 20 variables instead of 10.
Exactly. Watery Grave Goat.
Okay, that's exactly what I needed.
The real question you need to answer is, which deck can I play to give me the most time to play with my puppy in between rounds?
Smart. Yeah,
that's Mono Green.
That's the big brain stuff. Yeah, I might be playing the Mono Green machine then.
Okay. Got a 2/2 Stonecoil Serpent.
I will go to 19.
Maybe I want to play that as a 1/1, honestly, just to ensure the Lovestruck Beast.
I would think not.
No.
Yeah.
It's a
19.
2/2.
Yeah. Okay, I got a Thought Erasure.
Oh, well, part of the reason I wanted it to be a 2/2 is because I was going to play Garrick's Harbinger this turn instead of the Lovestruck Beast, but that might not be happening.
Yeah,
pretty good hand.
Old QB is pretty dang bad for me as well, though. But
1, 2, 3, 4 removal spell 3 lands is
I mean, it's not that hard for mono green to have those draws. To be fair,
but very redundant curve. Lovestruck Beast and Stonecoil Serpent great at filling your curve in different spots.
Yup.
Primal Might as well.
I think I'm going to take the Harbinger here. I'm not in love with it, but I don't want this, and I'll pass to you.
Oh, Mill the Forest, so definitely has green mana in hand. Probably has it in the form of shock lands.
You don't know my life.
Let's get in for 3.
I'll take it. 16.
And play a Lovestruck Beast.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right, shock line, go.
Attack rate.
Okay. I will go to 8.
I do not want to play Questing Beast because it plays too hard into Extinction Event.
Yeah, it does.
I'll instead play Castle Garenberg and pass the turn.
Okay.
Possible I didn't even want to play that castle.
Yeah.
Just to maybe show that I don't have the land.
Okay, so 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, I kind of have one play. Take 2, 6. Gain 1. So stay at 7. Graces for 2.
Dead to Primal Might then?
Oh, I guess I am, huh? Yeah, I'm dead no matter what then. I was like, I'm trying to stay alive through Questing Beast, but I just didn't realize Primal Might. There's nothing I can do.
I also had a Ranger's Guile in my hand.
Nice, yeah.
Why I played the land. I think if I didn't have the Guile, I might consider not playing that land, but then if I draw land 5, I can Questing Beast plus Guile.
Yeah, no, that's smart though, because if I Extinction Event on even and you play Questing Beast, all of a sudden you can't attack at all, and it's like an actual Wrath of God, so...
And I had lethal on board anyway, and especially because I drew the Guile, I just get to hold up and answer to spot removal. If you tap out for Extinction Event, I have Questing Beast as a great follow-up. If you tap out for a creature, I have Primal Might, so I had basically every angle covered.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a story of mono green in game 1. I mean, like, I have Teferi, Master of Time, which is not good. I just didn't, necessarily have a great hand to compete with that anyways.
Stumbled a little bit, and I ran you over. Classic aggro.
Mono green does not care if you stumble. It goes brr. All right, so that's going to do it for game number 1 here. Blink and you missed it. So we're going to head to Sideboarding, where I got a couple Enter the God Eternals. I think I'm going to keep saying that every single round. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Sideboarding here on Versus Live. All right, everybody, welcome back to Sideboarding here on Versus Live with Sultai Ramp up against the mono green machine. So for me, pretty easy sideboarding here. These kill creatures. These don't, effectively. This does kill stuff, but Narset's really bad against mono green, especially Questing Beast. I'm keeping in 1 Teferi Master at a time because of Questing Beast. It's actually pretty good against it. Cultivate is a card I just side out a lot. I don't know if it's always correct, but I usually just don't want to be wasting time ramping. When I have stuff like Uro and stuff, I'd rather be just interacting every single turn.
You're less of a ramp deck against aggro, more of a control deck.
Exactly. And then casualties, once again, the switch for Enter the God Eternals. Enter the God Eternals, I think, is even better in this matchup than the other ones. Like, you're bringing in a great card that can't get hit, but everything else is just like, this is just bad for you. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yep. And, even though Shifting Ceratops doesn't get hit by Enter the God Eternals, you kill something else and then block down the Ceratops with the zombie.
Yeah. So, that feels mean.
Yeah. Then I am bringing in Shifting Ceratops. You do have good answers to it, but attacking through Uro, attacking through Hydroid Krasis, really nice. It survives. Enter the God Eternals.
Another haste threat is just scary.
Yeah, it's just another haste threat. We really just want to be putting on the pressure and making core interaction as awkward as possible because if you have Heartless Act and Noxious Grasp in your hand, or maybe one of them, you're not saving it for early threats or later threats. You've got to kill stuff as it comes. right? So if the job is up to me then to sequence my threats in a way to make your removal down the road as awkward as possible. And Shifting Ceratops does have the capability of doing that, especially given that it survives Enter the God Eternal. So definitely coming in here, cutting Vivian because it occupies the same spot on the curve. And Vivian is also a card that is much better against opponents that are blocking a lot. You block a little bit.
Not much,
but not very much. So it's not a card that you're usually playing on turn 4 to very much effect. You probably have removal up. You just kill the thing I target. And then you have easy answers to it in Noxious Grasp. You can even attack it down. So not a card I think is great. Trimming one Barkite Troll just because I think it's the worst card in the deck and always a card I look to trim.
Okay. And, I swear there was another 2-drop that I always trimmed.
Well, we're not trimming Scavenging Ooze in the Euro matchup.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah. Maybe I was just playing like a worse card.
And then I'm trimming a land on the draw. If we go to game 3 and I'm on the play again, we'll see another Troll come out and I'll have the 25th land in. But on the draw, I think you can afford to go to 24.
Makes sense to me. All right. Well, that game was a beating. Was not even remotely close. We'll see if being on the play yields a different result.
Being on the play, having more cheap interaction.
Not mulliganing, there are definitely some factors that I hope it goes better, but I guess I haven't not mulliganed yet. So, all right, Rob, do you got a question from our lovely audience?
Yeah, we had a question about a deck one of your teammates likes to play.
Oh,
and they played last weekend. So. Do you think Azorius Control is definitely the wrong way to go trying to play overtop Sultai?
Never listen to Shaheen. That's a lesson I think we should get down from the... No, I'm just kidding. Blue-White Control...
Oh, I wasn't.
Well, here's the thing. Shaheen will play Blue-White Control no matter what because it's his style. He likes to do it. I just think there are too many... Like, the Sultai deck is just too dynamic. It's not like Narset shuts it down like you want it to. Like, it's good, but you need more than just a Narset to stick. I don't even know exactly what his list was like, but I don't think Control is good right now.
I do not want to be playing a control deck against a deck that is full of discard spells, counter spells, and card advantage generating creatures.
Exactly.
And planeswalkers.
Exactly.
That's their entire deck, and you have problems against all of those cards.
Yeah.
For the most part, Azorius Control gets a lot of value in blanking opposing removal in game 1, and then sideboarding Integrate Disruption in games 2 and 3. Yeah. But they don't have a lot of blank removal in game 1.
Yeah.
There might be a little bit more if aggro decks come up, but if they want to target Sultai, they are actually main decking more counter spells. That's worse for you.
You blank Aether Gust. That's your biggest hope,
That's the one card that you get for free. And if they're playing main deck Disputes, main deck Negates, and Shark Typhoons especially, at least some portion of the list will be doing.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah, and I can't say with all certainty because I have not played Azorius Control in a while, but I do think it's just blatantly flawed right now. And the whole reason Teamer Adventures came up was to destroy Azorius Control. Like it's an insanely lopsided matchup. It's like 70-30.
Yeah.
Teamer Adventures just destroys that deck. I know because I was loving Azorius Control.
I remember this shift happening.
And I remember playing it, so I was like, okay, I lost, but it didn't feel that bad. And then the next match, I just got destroyed, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't play this deck anymore. And we lost to Fairy, so Blue-White Control ain't it right now. Sorry, Shaheen. Sorry, buddy.
I don't know why Shaheen doesn't just play mono green so he gets to play. I guess we're playing all online so he doesn't get to play with his token.
Yeah, that's true.
That's unfortunate. He should just be playing nothing but Lovestruck Beast.
I know. I tried to get him on the mono green train the one time I top 8'd with it. I played it twice and I did really bad the second time. But the time that it was really good, the first week, he was like on it up until the last moment, and then he switched to Azorius Control. He's like, oh, phew, I almost played an aggro deck there for a second. I got to get out of that. All right, great question though, everybody. Keep them coming in. Oh, excuse me. All right, I am going to start.
You got to start the last game. That's not true.
No, I didn't. All right, redo the match. If you thought I was getting to start. All right, sorry.
Okay, I guess you can start this one. So
okay, fair. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
That's true.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know if you're truly a gentleman, but we'll see. All right, so these are magical cards that can be cast. I'm in.
Wow, you can cast your cards? That's lucky. I'm still keeping, but...
Wow, lucky. Just imagine a versus live where we're always annoyed that we just keep and do the basic game actions. Wait, that's this show.
Turn 1 Zagoth Triumph.
Jeez. That's a breeding pool plus something else.
Your
Go.
castle under untap?
Oh, yeah. I get to draw cards.
Wow.
I know.
Just wow.
I know.
I will play a Barkhide Troll.
Wow, really? You have a
Pass the turn.
2-drop? Get that back.
Ether Gust.
Yep.
I'm going to bottom.
Okay.
I don't want to redraw that.
You signed it out. You barely wanted to draw one of them. A row. 23. Draw. Breeding pool. Your go.
Scavenging Ooze.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
Hate that. Hate that. Oh, that was a pretty good draw. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with the Noxious Grasp on this.
Three in hand.
4.
Okay, exile the Euro.
Okay, you gain 1.
And you gain 1.
All right.
21 to 24.
Okay. And then I'm going to take 2 but gain 3. Euro.
So you go to 25.
Yep. Draw. That's why I wanted to kill it first, even though I was running the risk of a Ranger's Guile. But we'll love. Here we go. It's a QB. 21.
You can go.
Let's see. I think it's a pretty easy turn here. Yeah, we're just going to Crisis for 4. Draw 2.
You go to 23.
Yep. And I'll play a land and pass to you.
Attack for 4.
I will block.
Ranger's Guile.
Punished.
I had the Guile, but it felt like Corey might have a second removal spell there.
Yeah.
But he had second Uro, which punishes me for not Guiling the...
Yeah,
the
I got a little
snooze.
punished for not turning the swamp sideways with my Crisis.
And then I'll play a Harbinger.
Okay.
Pass the turn. So I got max punished, because if I had just Guiled the Scavenging Ooze, I'd be in much better shape.
Yeah, I think I was kind of happy you didn't do that. Okay.
Well, like that's just a, it's just a judgment call. Do they have a second removal spell or a second Uro?
Mm-hmm. All right, so now we get a pretty busted turn. Nissa. Untap. Enter the God Eternals. Floating. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to use the mana. Cedric used against his favorite deck. And I'll mail myself.
Yeah. I'm just getting max punished on every turn.
I love that. Okay, so I go to 27.
Yeah. The Ranger's Guile play is a judgment call, but I should not have played Questing Beast on turn 4.
Interesting. Debating if I want to play this. Yeah, whatever. Your go.
Yeah. What I should have played was this. Because I had the Ranger's Guile, so if I draw land 5, it's a lot more
easier
disguised.
to go Questing Beast with
Yeah.
Guile. Yep.
And I was giving you a turn to untap and just have the Enter the God Eternals on the Questing Beast.
Yep.
For no reason.
Yep.
So it took a couple turns for me to eventually get punished by it, but I also wouldn't, if I play Ceratops and you go Crisis, I just get to attack for 5, and I just play Garrett's Harbinger and hold up Ranger's Guile. Everything just works out way better for me.
Yep. I agree.
But instead, I'm getting absolutely myrtleated.
No land for the haste. Even the haste doesn't really matter right now. Okay.
I think it would have been tough for me to. Well, I'm not sure how tough it would have been to beat the Nissa if I had the Ceratops down earlier.
Yeah, if you had the stupid pump card on the Harbinger there, I would have been pretty sad, but I don't think it matters. Okay, so Uro, 30.
Yep. So one judgment call and one clear mistake here, just having this game completely cascade out of control.
Yeah. I will sack this Fabled Passage. I will get a Island. Now let's go with float a green to Fairy.
Yep.
Draw a card, lose 2.
28.
Draw. Get rid of that. Untap. Oops, there's not a 7 on that. I don't need anything too specific. So I think we'll just untap the Schwamp. And now I can attack with the Amass creature now, I think. Yeah. Yeah, no point. Go ahead. I don't like attacking with this deck.
I was really hoping you would, because then I could draw Primal Might, like this, make this a 7, attack here, force you to at least block with...
Yeah. No reason to attack. I'll just lock you out slowly but surely. Oh, it won't even be that slow. Fast but surely.
Yeah, I'm playing another Shifting Ceratops. I will check the Uro to some extent and pass the turn.
I'll gust it.
Okay, I'm dead.
All right. Come on, I just had this. I just had a crisis. Nothing too big. So many dice. That is the one thing I love about playing this deck online is you do not need to bring 1,000 dice. And that's the same with one thing that I haven't had to do, but it would have been a big problem with just the decks I like. Not having to shuffle 80 card decks except on Versus Live. I played so many Yorian decks before the nerf that it was nice to not have to go to a tournament and give away what deck you're playing.
Honestly, it's going to feel really weird when, we have to go back to playing paper tournaments. Just not going to be used to it.
Oh, yeah.
I bet there's going to be an abnormal number of judge calls.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be
I just can't wait for the illegal companions, or all kinds of stuff.
I just want to say I enjoy my 5-minute drive to the broadcast site instead of the 6 to 8 hours it'll take normally.
Yeah. I enjoy those subtleties too, but I really miss hotels. I just miss going to hotels. I know it's a weird thing to miss, but I enjoyed, going to hotels meant you were hanging with your buddies and stuff, and it brought a lot of fun things, but
hanging out at the hotel bar.
Yeah, there you go.
$12 for a beer.
There you go. That's the way. Yeah. All right, are you wanting to bring in your castle on the play?
Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Oh, there's a Barcat troll. Get out of here.
Perfect. Get out of here. Okay, so game 3. See how this one goes here.
I get to be on play. Everything's going to be good.
So far, it has just been absolute beatings on the play. Just both sides. And honestly, that's kind of Mono Green's MO. Winning die rolls with Mono Green feels so much more important than winning a die roll in a Sultai Mirror. Sometimes I don't even know if I want to go first in the Sultai Mirror.
I always want to go first.
I mean, you do, but it's somewhat close. All right. Let's get a mulligan from you. I think it's your turn.
How about instead I don't do that?
Oh, all right then. All right, how's your hand?
It's fine.
I'll keep. Mine's okay as well.
I've got a Pelt Collector.
Oh, yours is busted. What are you talking about? All right, your go.
I've got a Heart's Desire.
Okay.
Attack for 1.
Ooh, and you don't have another land because you played that. 19.
You can go.
All right. That's a decent draw. I'll pass to you. Top decker.
Play Lovestruck Beast.
So I have a removal spell. I'm debating what I want to kill. If I kill the Lovestruck Beast on the stack, you still get the counter, right?
Yes, if you with all the removal that's in your deck, yes. If you were to kill it with like a minus effect, then it would not get the counter.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, if you had like Nixilus's Cruelty, for example.
So you'd get 2 counters on Pellet Collector if I killed your Lovestruck Beast.
Yes.
Okay.
Which means if you're going to kill Beast, you just wait till the end step.
Yep, exactly. I'm just going to respond with... eliminating Pellet Collector.
Okay, attack for 1.
Okay, I will take it. 18.
Pass the turn.
I'm going to take 2 but gain 3. I've been saying that a lot.
Brings you to 19.
Yep. Draw. Land tap. Pass to you.
Attack for 6.
I'll take it.
Brings you to 13.
Yep.
Play a Scavenging Ooze and pass the turn.
Scavenging Ooze.
Could have played Ooze on turn 2, it would have been more aggressive, but if I hit land 3, it would have made my turn 3 very awkward, and it would have exposed the Ooze to removal before you had Uro, so...
Makes sense.
Everything went according to plan there, except for missing my 4th land drop. That was horse crap.
All right, I'm going to take 2 and enter the God Eternals and target myself.
Exile the Uro.
Okay, so I gain 4, you gain 1.
17 to 19, or to 17 to 21, other way.
Wait a minute. I went to 13, and then I just took 2 off this,
yeah,
right?
I didn't.
So
I missed the shock. Okay.
11 to 15?
Or 21 to 15.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My life total went from 11 to 15.
Yeah,
and
and
you
I'm
are
at
21. Okay, so I'm going to get on a mass token. I'm going to mill an Uro. All right, sweet. Sweet, here you go.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
I told you I was going to do it. I just said I'm going to mill an Uro. Why didn't you listen? Welcome to the jungle, Ross. Welcome to the Sultai jungle. There's that castle you sided in. Would have been a Barkhide troll, so feel good about that. Yes. One, two, three, four, 5. Huh. That's convenient. That's convenient, Ross. Enter the God Eternals. It's one heck of a magic card in these aggro decks.
Oh, definitely getting in for 5.
I will go to 10.
Oh, wait, hold on. This is also attacking.
Okay, still the same amount of life. I'm going to block QB.
Okay, pass it in.
Okay, so I'm at 10. And you have 2 cards?
3.
3. Sacrifice this. Uro. Always try to leave non-creatures just in case for Scavenging Ooze. That's the only thing you really got to worry about. 13. I'll put this into play tapped off that, and then Thought Erasure you. Ooh, it's kind of scary. Well, we're going to take one of those Shifting Ceratopses, believe it or not.
Not surprised.
Considering this, yeah, I think I'll leave it. Your go. Right, a land is pretty big.
Ow.
I mean, you get to attack with Shifting Ceratops. That's still kind of scary.
Meh.
Yeah.
What I want to draw is Primal Might.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Add your land.
Okay.
So make 6 green here with the castle. 2 green floating.
Yep. Yeah, you can't do that.
Oh, yeah, because that's a non-creature spell.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so haste and haste.
Haste and haste.
I can, potentially leave it back, I guess, and not have to trade my Lovestruck Beast away to deal with the Uro. Is that a winning line? I mean, is it attacking the winning line? So you're at 13.
Mm-hmm.
This actually is 5 plus 11 is 16 across 2 attacks if you have absolutely nothing. That seems unlikely.
I scryed to the top.
Yep. I'm just trying to think what I can beat here, and it's a very narrow range of cards.
Yeah. Sultai, so good. So very, very good.
Yeah, I'll attack.
All right. I will be forced to take it.
You go to 8.
8 to a
That's the turn.
21. Okay. So I'm thinking I want to do these 2 cards. And then I could look to Surveil to maybe have this available as well. So maybe I want to Thought Erasure first here to manipulate the top of my deck before I attack. So let's try that. Thought Erasure you. That's pretty good. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to attack, gain 3.
Brings you to 11.
Yep.
I'll go to 15.
Okay.
Don't think blocking is going to be successful there.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I just need to do this now so you can't draw a Ranger's Guile or anything. So, yeah, let's kill these. Gain 1.
You go to 12.
Your go. Not the plan I had going into my turn, but the second 2-mana removal spell was quite good there.
Attack for 4.
All right.
You get 8. You can go.
Vigilance.
Yeah.
All right. Draw trigger. Go to 11.
I'll go to 9.
This land in play. And then this is going to be kind of weird, but gonna Extinction Event on even. I'm gonna play a land and then say go. Want to get cards out of my hand to be able to castle if I want to. All right, down to 8.
Yep, you can go.
I'll go down to 6. I'll attack up to 9. What are you at?
I'm at 3.
Okay. Yeah, I'll still play that. Blue. To fairy. Pump. We'll hold this and pass to you.
You can go.
And step draw a card. Discard. Untap. Draw. And that should do it.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I could phase out the district if anything, but yeah. Honestly, it was just this time I just had an insane draw. I mean, my opener was like it was only 2 lands, but it was Heartless Act, Eliminate, Uro, Enter the God Eternals, and like a Thought Erasure and 2 lands. So I needed help, but all I did was draw 3 lands in a row, and then I flipped over Uro of Enter the God Eternals. So I got lucky, but even on a medium draw there. Yeah, I wouldn't say a medium draw because you had a pretty aggressive draw. I needed a good draw, but I had a great draw.
Yeah. I had a great one, and especially hitting the Uro off the Enter the God Eternals, that was too much. I think without that, then we're playing a game. So from that point, I drew like 4 lands in a row and drew some spells. So I was probably losing regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But that just shows you the power of this deck, and there was a problem there where. You saw the issue with mono green where I'm just playing into all your removal. All your interaction was good. Eliminate, Heartless Act, Ether Gust, Enter the God Eternals. Every single one of them was just good. Yeah. And if I don't have a good draw, or if you just have a great draw, there's not really much I can do about it.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. You have to play your things. Now we got a little bit of time. I want to show off the mono green deck a little bit. We got time for a pity game here. Our next match is going to be another quick one. So we'll see. So far, Sultai's going to be taking the show, but let's see if it gets the sweep. It's just a strong endorsement for the deck, and honestly, the list that I'm playing is more of the, I would say level 1, if we want to call it that, because this was kind of last week's Sultai deck. But now the new hotness is going to be the Shark Typhoon list, the more flashy list, and I mean that in all senses of the word. And all these aggro decks are better against that. So take that with a grain of salt, because I am playing a Sultai list that I think is just closer to stock. And I think stock Sultai still beats aggro, but that flashy Sultai beats Sultai and struggles with aggro. But when you expect to play against more Sultai than non-Sultai, that's probably a better choice. And I think people will gravitate towards that a little bit. So, who knows?
Keep in mind when we're talking about these matchup spreads, like the differences are still fairly small.
Yeah.
We're talking about just percentage points, but those matter when it comes to a Magic tournament.
And that matters when it comes to standard this late in the thing. It's all about these minor percentages.
Yep. And I've got a good hand here, except for the fact that it only has 1 land on the play. So
all right.
Sending it back.
That's not a good hand at all. Ooh, well, I'm going to keep, but this is definitely a hand that can just get absolutely steamrolled, so bring it on. This is going to be my first turn play. This is a reason why in these type of hands, why temples are actually good. But the interaction with Nissa and breeding pools, and the fact that this Sultai deck essentially gets to play 8, and I think instead of the 2 temples I have, they should just be green-blue or just green-blue triumphs. What is that, only Ketra? Is that the only, isn't there another one you can do?
The one you're already playing 4 of?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so they just should be more Ketra triumphs. And it seems weird, but the interaction, the passive synergy, me and Brad did our podcast on passive versus active synergy. The passive synergy between breeding pool, Nissa, and 2-mana interaction is just so unbelievably powerful that you want to maximize it.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
All right.
A mediocre hand here, but it's keep on 6.
Okay. I like no Pelty Collector, and our hand is now busted. So I will scry. I don't want that land, so I'll put it on the bottom.
Forced to go.
Oh, God. I'm going to take 2 and pass to you. Nothing here.
Let's hope it's a black removal spell and not a gust.
Yeah, black removal doesn't do it there, but gust sure does.
I will top it.
Okay. Take 2, gain 3. God, this is my catchphrase today.
And 19.
All right. Draw. Temple Scry. Do we want another one of these? I mean, it's kind of good to have a little bit of insurance. Yeah, why not? Here you go.
You play this Harbinger.
Okay.
You're up.
I'm going to play Master of Time.
Sure.
I'm going to draw. Discard this extra Uro, play a land, and pass to you.
Three cards in your graveyard right now?
I do, yep.
And 4 in hand?
4 in hand.
Attack to Fairy.
And it's whenever it deals to creature or planeswalkers?
Yeah.
I'll phase it out.
Scoos, exile the 2 arrows.
That was mean.
You go to 22.
Yep.
I go to 22.
I literally kept the other arrow on top to play around ooze, and then I just discard it. Good job, Mark. Good job. Alrighty.
So you're saying Scavenging Ooze was a good draw?
It was pretty good, yeah.
Should have drawn that one.
All right, draw.
Yep.
I don't think I need this land right now. But I do need this Nissa. I don't want to attack, so I will pass to you.
Okay. End step, exile the Gust.
Okay. My Uro plan has been foiled.
So I think it's pretty clear that Corey has a piece of black removal here. So...
Yeah, and look at how bad these temples are in comparison to if they were Ketchery Triumphs. I just have so much mana. And like, I mean, they scried to the top, so technically they did nothing.
I am going to Primal Might the Harbinger for 2 and fight the Overgrown Tomb.
Okay. In response, I will Noxious Grasp that.
I will exile the Watery Grave in response.
Okay.
You gain a life.
Yep.
Brings you to 20. And then I will attack Nissa for 6.
Attacking Nissa for 6. Okay, it's dead.
Then I will look at the top 6.
That's pretty gross.
And could get a Pelt Collector and just cast another creature here, which is nice. Does
Hate it.
play somewhat into Extinction Event, because it's another odd. You have 3 cards.
3, yep.
I think I'm just going to go for power here and take a Questing Beast
Okay.
and pass the turn.
All right, end step draw. Oh boy, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. That's where I love Tammy over Teferi. I was really unsure on which one to play. And you have how many cards?
3.
3. Feels bad, man. Okay.
Had the Extinction Event.
Had it. Had it. Had it the whole time. I'm going to take 2, play a Crisis for 3, so lose 1, 19.
Yeah. Lose 2, gain 1.
Loot. Go. I can be your hero.
Shifting Ceratops to deal with this Teferi.
That's quite
We
shifty.
can give it Trample and Haste. That sounds good. And don't think I want to offer the trade.
Trample and haste, eh?
Maybe I do, though. No, because if you have Extinction Event to deal with these evens, then you're going to have to tag the Crisis anyway, so yeah.
Okay. Do I want to loot? I like the cards in my hand, so I don't necessarily want to.
Milligan Arrow is great.
Yeah, true. But I'm thinking if I want to phase out Harbinger, but I guess that doesn't do anything. So, yeah. Okay. Let's loot.
We already had this debate like 2 years ago.
We did?
Yeah, it was a whole thing on Magic Twitter. It was like, do you loot? Do you not loot?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And people got mad for making fun of other people for having different answers.
Yeah.
It was just...
People getting mad at people for doing things. Shocked. All right. Yeah, guess I'll get rid of this. Get rid of this.
Pass the turn.
Okay, that was a great draw.
None of my creatures can be targeted by Enter the God Eternals. That's nice.
That is nice. I will play Nissa. I think I want to just do this now. Take 2, Heartless Act, and then animate one of these temples. Animate this temple, and I'll get in there. I'll offer the trade.
You have 1 card in hand?
1 card. I'm guessing you can guess it's not a 2-mana removal spell, since I did not untap Breeding Pool or Overgrown Tomb. And 19 to 22, right?
I have you at 17, you shocked.
Oh, you're correct.
Ooh, do I want to make this trade?
Yeah.
I think the deciding factor is if I draw another Primal Might, I don't want to make this trade. So I'm just going to take the 3.
19, your go.
I think it's a little bit better for me to actually take it if I don't draw it, but it's so different if I do. I did not.
Okay, that's good. That's good. You still got a good play in that one QB staring at me, but...
I have an even better play in this second Shifting Ceratops.
Okay. That's pretty good.
So, Trample Haste again.
Okay.
And now we can send both at Nissa. And this will likely get these blocks, I would assume. But it's possible you just make this trade and let Nissa go to 1 and then have 2 3/3s. But then the QB could be very good next turn. But yeah, I'm Trample Haste, send both.
Definitely down to 1. I'll keep my creature. Okay.
And pass the turn.
Okay. All right. That sucks. That really sucks. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, I think I basically have 1 play here, and that's animate this, attack for 6.
I go to 13.
And pass to you.
Costing Beast.
Yep.
You, Nissa.
I'll double block Shifting.
I'll put the Temple of Deceit first.
Pass priority. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take 4.
So you're at 13.
Yep.
I will then play a Heart's Desire
Okay.
and pass the turn.
All right. Sack this. Kind of land do we want? I don't think it really matters.
Probably a swamp.
Yeah, probably. Then I'll enter the God Eternals, that Questing Beast.
You go to 17.
Yep. Target myself. Here's Zero. Nope. Wrong blue-green card.
Getting pretty punished for not taking the trade on the Harbinger and the land.
And then attack for 3.
Would have been able to keep my Ceratops around.
Your go.
So you'd have a 3/3 and a 4/4 here to check it, so it's not a huge difference.
Yeah.
I don't think. I'd have a little bit more life to play with.
Yeah, I don't have many. Oh, yeah, I have 2 arrows gone, so only 2 left in the deck.
So I'm at 10, you're at 17.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll make 8 mana, play a Gigantic Serpent.
Wow. Okay.
Pass the turn. It's bigger than your 2 creatures combined, which is convenient. I have 6 from here and 2 more, so.
Interesting. That's awkward. All right. Enter the God Eternals on that. I will mill 1, 2, 3, 4. Still no luck. And now I can't attack with both because you can just chump this. But I will get in there for 8.
And now my lack of life is killing me.
You don't want to block?
Huh? Oh, it traits. Yeah, definitely want to trade.
Okay.
For some reason, I thought you were 1 bigger.
No.
So I'm a 10.
Your go. Really wanted an Uro there as a restocker, but I guess I'll have to settle. Yep.
Hold on. 6 green, 3 floating, 1 floating. Exile some creature in your graveyard. I'm sure there's
plenty. Okay.
So that'll protect it from Heartless Act at least. I go to 11.
Yep.
And pass the turn.
Oh, that was a great draw.
Yeah, Scooz is a nice one in the late game. This deck has a lot of good mana sinks. Part of why it's good.
Yep.
And normally Scooz and Serpent are cards you play pretty early, but there you saw them be.
Yeah, and we have infinite creatures here, so this is not great. That thing can get gigantic. Yeah, I'm just going to go Breeding Pool, tap, go.
Okay, end step, exile 2 more creatures.
All right.
I'll go to 13.
That's the last of my creatures.
Okay.
You go to 13?
Yep.
Okay.
How many total cards do we have in the graveyard here? 3, 5, 8, 10, 19.
Pretty tough for you to shut down Uro if I were to draw it.
Agreed. That's a pretty good draw. Pelt Collector.
Okay.
Attack.
All right. Oh, that's annoying.
I have 6 creatures in my graveyard right now. So this is attack for potentially 16.
Okay. Oh, this is tough. It's going to be a tough one to get back into. Do I just block the ooze? Try to draw something effective? Yeah, I think so. Block the ooze.
I take 5.
All right.
Brings you to 16. Pass the turn.
Well, I got to do this, but it's not very good.
I assume you're going to be naming even, in which case I'd rather leave these in the graveyard in case I draw another ooze. I don't think my life total is that relevant. So, yeah, that resolved.
Yeah, I got to name even, so.
I could, exile your stuff in response, but that's not going to do a whole lot.
Go.
Attack for 6.
Down to 10.
You can go.
How about an Uro? That's not an Uro. Well, I guess it could be, but. Thought Erasure. Okay. Here you go. Okay, 4.
You can go.
Uro. Okay. I'd like to draw. So I'll gain 6. I will go to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uro. Draw another card. Put that into play. Pass to you. Sweet. No Primal Might.
Unbelievable.
It looked like you were not in this game even remotely, and then it looked like I'm completely dead, and yeah, this is a weird one.
Not weird at all. I just drew 4 lands in a row.
Yeah, so I liked it. All right, I'm going to cycle Triumph. Play my 1 land for the turn, attack, trigger.
You go to 13.
13. I'll put this land into play tapped.
I'll go to 7.
And pass. Oh, sorry, I cycled this in the wrong. There we go. Okay. There you go. Here you go. Here's 7.
Attack for 6.
Oh, Gus Lovestruck Beast. Okay, and then I'll take 1 down to 12. And step draw card down to 11.
Yep.
All right, I'm on the look for Nissa to present lethal this turn. So I want to do my stuff first. Uro, go to 14. Draw. I'm going to play this. Attack, trigger. Go to 17. I'll play this as well.
I'll go to 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Found the Nissa post combat. Untap this so I can activate Castle and pass to you.
Oh, I drew another Pell Collector.
Oh, hooray! That was some bad luck for Mono Green, that's for sure. And I got the Uro at the last minute, but I mean, like, look at this. I was down to 4, and just 1 top deck Uro late game, all of a sudden I'm at 17. Like, that card is just unreasonable.
It is a very unreasonable magic card.
Unreasonable. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I think my vote would still be Mono Green ain't it so far, but what do you think? I mean, it definitely the games are close, but
yeah.
I do think...
I mean, all these games have been close. It's just Sultai seems to be coming out on the right side of it at the end.
Yeah.
Just so many strong top decks that put the game away, and these decks are relying on you missing a little bit. When you don't miss, you just don't lose.
Yeah, it was pretty awkward. I had 2 Enter the God Eternals at one point when you had a Harbinger and a Shifting Ceratops in play, and I very much considered killing my own land just so I could get a card, but then I'm like, that feels kind of bad. But
I mean, honestly, like I might have just lost the game by playing that Heart's Desire, because that 1/1 really wasn't doing anything for many turns.
Yeah.
And I could have just saved it, and it gave you a target for the Enter the God Eternals.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I thought about
Unless,
that.
can I Enter the God Eternals my own amass token, and then it gets dealt damage, and then it gets counters on it?
So you killed the token the first time, then you killed the Questing Beast, right?
Yeah, I killed the Questing Beast first, then the token. But I'm saying if you didn't play the token,
okay. So
is that a legal play to Enter the God Eternals your own amass?
Say opponent controls?
I can target myself, but I just don't know if it dies before I get the amass.
State-based actions aren't checked until after the entire thing resolves, and you'll amass before. It's like bolting a 2/3 Goyf with no instant.
Gotcha. I'm so bad about that kind of stuff. It's unreal. I always just feel like, Judge, please tell me how my cards work.
Anytime a spell deals damage, but then also affects the power and toughness of
they go simultaneously.
It's not that they go simultaneously. It's that the state-based action to see if the creature is taking lethal damage isn't taken until after the spell is finished resolving.
Okay.
And so if part of the other resolution of the spell, in the lightning bolt case, it's the spell going to the graveyard. In this case, it's the amass part of the resolution.
That's a much easier way of understanding it.
Yeah, affect the creature's power and toughness. Then by the time you're taking the state-based action and saying, "Oh, this is taking 4 damage, let's update that," it's bigger and it survives.
Okay, well, we are a little over time, so next up is going to be our last deck that we think can deal with Sultai. Now, this is a deck I haven't actually played. I saw it won the Red Bull event, this giant tournament this last weekend, and that's Izzet Tempo. Izzet aggro, however you want to say it. It's playing a lot of tough to deal with cards. You can't really Heartless Axe Sprite Dragon very effectively. You can't eliminate the 5-mana prowess card. Storm
Entity.
Yeah, I mean, there's the removal, and Gust is like only good against like the Arcanist. So it really does dance around Sultai's removal removal, so it makes sense how it won, but we'll see. Yeah.
I've seen a little bit of this deck over the last couple of weeks.
Has it impressed you?
I first saw it from Shota Takao, who 6-0'd some event. I'm not exactly sure. I just saw it listed and I recognize the name, but the deck does some cool stuff. Really turns the corner effectively. It looks like you're not under a lot of pressure, and then suddenly you're dead.
Yeah.
So that's the impressive part of it. Hopefully we get to see it in action, and hopefully we can avoid the sweep here against Sultai. But so far it's taking care of business. So we are going to take a quick 5-minute break and come back and finish our day here with the Sultai Gauntlet on Versus Live. Don't go anywhere.